Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Hey, how's everybody doing out there? Cheers, happy Sunday. Sometimes it says Fender on there. Relic. Cheers, everybody, happy Sunday. How is everybody doing? Hope you had a great week. I had a great week. Had a really productive weekend with two really great gigs. Friday night with Bridge on Fire at East Sides. Thanks, East Side. Amazing place. Old school stage. Perfectly set up by the sound crew there. Old Parcan lights burning the hell out of us. Big light show, some semi-follow spot kind of going on. Great mix. I think five monitor mixes. If everyone, those of you who care about such things as hearing yourself, that kind of thing. And then last night I played with Inertia, a great local band. Kristen and the boys, Jay, fine guitar player, and everybody else. Dave on bass, Steve on drums, Kristen on vocals. Probably do some more live shows with Inertia coming up. Played that song last night, Shine by Collective Soul. By the way, there's a real great video by Rick Beato with Ed Roland from Collective Soul. You should watch that. Really, really insightful stuff on the music business and the ups and downs. Because, he had a real big high in the 90s and kind of went down and up again. Had to sell a lot of stuff. And from a huge song like that, he probably made tons of money. He probably bought a house on just what he made off of a song called Shine. But played that song last night on this guitar. And basically, as I was playing through songs, classic rock songs last night, I was just amazed that, as old as I am, that 90s hit song is now kind of considered some people's classic rock. Interestingly enough, that stuff, which was, still to me still sounds kind of fresh and new, and now it's kind of lumped in with what I used to think of as 70s rock is now in my heyday, and then now in 2000 people are thinking of 90s as their classic rock. Yeah, it's just an interesting take on that. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but it's just more and more music to play, more and more music that people love, and it's just kind of a great thing. Subbing in for a band is interesting, learning a gaggle of tunes, a lot of original stuff and stuff like that, and just trying to get it all into your brain. This summer I've played with probably now four different acts, and you have to really, for musicians out there who do this type of thing, playing with different people, you really have to pick your spots on when you actually go over the material, I find. Because if you've got, 3 weeks coming up with 4 different bands, I think you got to take whatever the gig is, the soonest gig, like the one that's coming up, work on that one, and once that gig's over, work on the next one, and then one after that gig's over, just start working on the following one. Because I don't know about you, but my brain cannot handle that much stuff, and you can generically break down songs into their changes, and there's only so many chords out there, so you kind of figure out pathways to learn things easily and simply, rather than, and every song is different, so it's kind of a world of it, and how authentic can you be to that song, and that's all important stuff to me, and just as far as being authentic and being, I mean, let's face it here. I play for the guitar players. I play for the guitar players out there. Friday night we're playing East Side, and we play a lot of a lot of stuff that's pretty at the top end of classic rock guitar playing. Zach Wild, Eddie Van Halen, Randy Rhoads, stuff like that. We're playing. I'm playing the Crazy Train solo, and I've got to basically resurrect a solo that I learned probably when I was 18 years old. Now I gotta throw it out in front of a bunch of people, and there's people gonna be sitting there going, they know that solo, right? And I play the solo in No More Tears, and people come up and give me a fist pump. That means a lot because at least I guess I got it right if they noticed if they recognize that it was okay, right? So yeah, that's the thing. You got to keep all that, and you got to keep all that stuff in shape. Bridge on Fire hasn't had a lot of gigs this summer, but you still got to be at top of your game. Um, Basically, when you come up in front of people, because people in the crowd don't know, and it's at a certain level. So for all you guys out there who do a lot of gigs and play a lot of gigs with different bands, what are your thoughts on keeping everything in shape? It's a lot to store up here, and a lot of it's autopilot. I know. I mean, there's a lot of songs that I played last night that I didn't even think about it. It just played through them. Other stuff you have to really kind of concentrate and think about everything. So I don't know. Your thoughts, you guys' thoughts on that stuff? All you any weekend warriors out there that have that maybe don't play as much. It's an interesting thought. It was great to pull this old guitar out. This rears its head every once in a while. Mostly when I'm playing a 440 gig, which basically means that I'm not tuned down to E flat, and I've had a whole set of guitars that are E flat, and I got a whole set of guitars that are 440. And my 440 guitars I haven't been playing for a while. I had the Strats out a couple weekends ago, but these are all the rock, hot rods that I play. If people come to see me play, and um, well, they come to see the bands that I play, but they basically my guitars are kind of one of a kind. And I don't do this on purpose. I just have guitars that I just put different parts in, and I come from the Van Halen school of do it yourself, right? So this guy is, I've featured this guy before. I'm gonna feature it again. So what? It's my show. I can do whatever I want. It's an Ibanez Roadstar 2, which came out in 19. I think it first came out in 1982. I believe this is an 83 model. I bought it from a friend who didn't go to my high school. He went to another high school. His name was Rob Briggs. He unfortunately, a few years after he sold me this guitar, passed away in a terrible motorcycle accident. So this is kind of a special guitar in honor of him. It definitely didn't look like this when I bought it. It was completely stock with the only thing that's everything's been replaced. This is the second neck that's been on it. It's got an original Floyd Rose on there, which I've refurbished with newer parts like the D-Tuna and saddles and all kinds of things. But it is the original Floyd Rose that was pretty seized up. You can get these things going and fixed. Under the hood, we have a very thick block courtesy of FU upgrades, Floyd Rose upgrades, as well as the noiseless springs and the big block in there that makes using the D-Tune a lot easier. Look at a lot of road rash on this guitar. It's been through a lot. I've been through. It used to come to every gig, but then I kind of retired it from gig life and then resurrected it for a few bands that needed the 440 stuff and the drop D stuff. This thing sounds amazing. I've never modified anything to do with the electronics on it. These are the original Ibanez pickups. They used to have gold covers on them. I took them off to expose the black coils. I don't know if that sounds different, but it looks cool. And like I said, actually, there's more original stuff on it than I think. The pickups, wiring, and the tuners. Original Ibanez tuners on this sucker. Anyways, this was my first good guitar that I ever bought. When I say good guitar, I think everything else before that was some kind of reasonable copy of what I really wanted to play in life, and things that had the strings this high off it that you couldn't really play, and playability and stuff like that. And then I got this guy, which was my first name guitar, Ibanez, and then proceeded to modify it, and it doesn't say Ibanez anymore, except it says it on the tuners, I think. But what was your first guitar? Do you still have it? I don't have. I do have my first guitar. It's an acoustic guitar by a company called Leroux, which is, I don't know if that is. That's probably some copy company, Martin copy. I still have it here. My first electric guitar, my friend Brad Smith, who lives in Rochester, New York, has that guitar, and maybe I'll trade it for something someday. Yeah, that was an Aldegus guitar. If you guys remember the Aldegus brand, which is an incredible brand. I've come across copies of those guitars, or copies, sorry, Aldeguses are copies, but I've come across Aldegus Les Pauls that are copies of Gibson Les Pauls that are better than some Gibson Les Pauls I've played, which is real credit to the Japanese 70s and 80s builders. One of this, this is Japanese. My Fernandez guitars are all Japanese 90s, 80s, 90s vintage guitars, which they have the mojo, man. They are my vintage guitars. I will never be able to afford, nor that I'd want to buy a vintage Les Paul, which you can't afford anyways, and or a vintage Fender, which are a little bit more affordable, but still in the $20,000 range. Which there's other things I gotta put drywall up before I can before I can spend 20 grand on a guitar. Love to have that kind of expendable income. Anyways, what was your favorite 90s guitar riff? That was probably my favorite. Cheers, everybody. Got a Jacob gig coming up next weekend, Saturday night at King George, our home away from home. It's like a local gig for us now, King George in Hamilton. And then who knows what else is coming up. We got Bridge on Fire stuff coming up. Some solid dates in September, some last minute stuff possibly coming up in the end of August. Big shout out to Bridge on Fire drummer Rodney DeFreitas, who plays in a band called Simply Skinnerd, which is doing a lot of end of August dates. Possibly why Bridge on Fire isn't doing a lot of dates in the end of August, but that's great. Go out and see him play. Incredible band. He's got a new singer, and support our local music, guys. Have a great Sunday. Rock your way through August. It's not over. Don't get depressed that summer's coming in. There's still lots of good weather left. Take it easy. Have a good one. Bye-bye.